Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Okay, so we have a request. It is from Job Well Done. Yeah, that's actually his title for his YouTube channel. It says, Mike, I have a request. Can you discuss how subtle red flags can be and how their subtleties are easy to overlook, difficult to discern? One thing I've noticed in my experience with narcs is that they tip you off in ways that are subliminal and create confusion. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so I'm going to start off right now. I do have a list, but I'm going to start off with this one right now because it just came to me. The number one thing for me is whenever I just get like a kind of a creepy feeling, or sometimes you feel shame, or you just feel this bad energy. Like the minute I start feeling negative energy like that, it's like I'm done. I'm gone. I just walk. Now that's where I'm at right now. So when you go through this whole narcissist abuse, dark night of the soul, and you just, you fall apart, you cry for, it can take a couple of years to truly get over this. Okay, so you've probably dealt with it most of your life and gone through absolute hell, not having any idea. But then there's that one narcissist, and I think you're ready. It's time for you to pop. It's ready for you to sprout. It's time for you to just wake up and see who's causing these abuses. So when you go through that, your whole world will shift. Everything changes. You see the truth. You see how horrible people can be. So essentially what's happening with you is you're starting to see things for the way they are, and you're beginning to trust yourself, because here's what happened. You've been hurt so many times, you've been hurt so bad, and this final one was like, it literally pushed you over the edge. It was the edge of, I just don't give a fuck anymore. You just don't care. And when you cross that line, that's when you start putting yourself first. That's when you start standing up for yourself, protecting yourself. That's when you start listening to yourself, because your whole life, you would ask them questions, well, what about this, what about that? And you would listen to them, and they would give you the worst advice in the world. They would tell you the exact opposite thing to do. And what ends up happening, that's part of what happens. You wake up, you're like, every time I ask these people, it's the absolute worst thing in the world. And you're like, I'm done. I'm listening to myself. If I'm going to screw up, if I'm going to make mistakes, then it's going to be on me, 100%. Because you realized this whole time they've been lying to you. They've been setting you up. Not just one person, but a lot of people in your life. And what this causes, it causes you to look inwards. It causes you to start paying attention to your feelings and your emotions, because they're screaming at you saying, get the hell out. Get away from this person. So when you're going through that final dark night of the soul, that final heart, that just ripped your heart out from a narcissist, you're going to get to a place where you really start, it's not even like you're working at it. It's just like, boom, you got a creepy feeling, like, oh, I don't like this, and you just walk away. You start walking away from bad situations kind of almost on an unconscious level. It's just like, I don't like this feeling, and you just leave. So number one, I listen to my intuition. That's my first red flag. That's my first, subtle hint, is my intuition, my feeling, my body starts to feel weird, and I'm done. Okay, so one more thing about that, and then I'll get on to some more specific red flags. So here's the deal. When you go through that really, really dark phase where you hibernate, not hibernate, but you clam up, God, what do they call that? It's when you go into isolation and you cut people out of your life, like I did. I cut a lot. I literally deleted people's numbers. I blocked people. I got rid of a lot of people that I realized were abusive, were just always shaming me and always verbally attacking me and just all that. I just got rid of all of them. I was like, I'm fucking done. But not only that, but you tend to spend almost all your time alone. You go to work, you come home, that's it. You stop going to the gym, you stop doing all this stuff. This is actually part of the process. Because what's happening is you are making that mind-body connection to your emotions and to your intuition. You're starting to finally listen to your damn intuition that people have been telling you your whole entire life. So this process will take a year or two, or maybe even 3 years for you to get... Now here's the deal though. The first year and a half sucks. It's just darkness. You think you're in the dark ages. It really sucks. But you're learning you're reflecting on all these experiences, and your brain is going through this at nighttime when you're sleeping. So you might have a lot of nightmares, you might cry a lot, it may be pretty rough, but I promise you this, you are going through a learning phase. It's an unconscious phase. It's an emotional process is what's happening. So your emotional nervous system is beginning to make all the connections, and that's why this process takes a while. And part of the process is you'll kind of start coming out of your shell and start interacting with people, and then somebody will do something, it'll hurt, and you'll walk away, and you're like, oh man, I had a funny feeling, a bad feeling right as that person started to approach me. Why didn't I listen to it? Well, you actually did. You're right now reflecting back. This is part of the development of becoming more and more intuitive, faster and faster, okay? So you're going to have these experiences where, oh man, I had a bad feeling about that guy before I even opened up to them. God, what was I thinking? No, that you're catching it. You're catching it a lot faster because before this, people could do stuff to you for even decades, years and years and decades, and you never would have caught it. So then when you go through Dark Night of the Soul, you're going back to when you were 2 years old, 1 year old, 5 years old, 13, 5 years ago, a year ago, and you go, oh my God, I let those people get away with all of this. So it took you years to finally realize it. Now you're catching it as quick as sometimes 1 or 2 minutes or 5 minutes later, or you're walking away and got something just doesn't feel right. Meaning you actually are beginning the process of becoming very intuitive. Okay, so let's go to the list. Okay, so some of these come from my actual experiences. So, okay, I'm going to give you one right now. So there's this person who was a client a while back, and then they kind of popped into my life out of the blue. And this was just really the beginning of me understanding what narcissist was. And I really started seeing stuff that I was like, wow, like before that would have went right past me. So this person had told me that they had to fly out of town, and they had to go the next morning to train someone, etc. And it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, and they ran into me in the store, and I'm like, wait, I thought you said you went to, like far away, and it was about, it's about 400 or 500 miles to train someone. Like, oh yeah, I did. I'm like, you did? I go, and you're already back, and now you're at the grocery store shopping? Like, get real. So it really bugged the shit out of me. So that was a red flag. It was an obvious lie. There's no way in hell that they could have caught a perfect flight at a perfect time and caught it back on, on the drop of a hat, because it was kind of like a last minute thing. I thought, what a load of bullshit. So then that's not even the real one. So the next red flag really was, we were in line at the cashier. So I was at the store and I bumped into this person. Okay, so that might have actually been planned, by the way, by them. So it was this, they just like, the way they looked at the clerk, like the clerk was so far beneath them that they didn't even like have the right to breathe the air. Like it was just like, and I just kind of was like, wait, what the fuck? Like it really irked me that this person looked at this person like that. And then I got rung up, and then we started walking out, and then the person did the same. I forget what they said, but then they said something that kind of was like, wait, what? And they looked at me like it was this look, and here's the noise. They went, like not quite that loud, but it was that smirk on their face and that look out of that side eye look that out of the side of their eye, the side eye glance, and it was just like, it's like they just like it was very dismissive. It was the feeling like they looked down on me, and I just remember looking at him like, well, who the fuck's this person? This guy's done nothing in his life, like literally nothing. Like he has no accomplishments, no achievements. There's not a single thing. Look at all the stuff that I've done, from airborne, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, football, state awards in art and music. I mean, I can go on and on. So it was just that dismissive look with the smirk, and that kind of like that huff out of the nose. Out of their nose. It's like the minute I see that with people now, I'm done. If someone is dismissive towards a clerk or anyone, I'm out of here. So here's the deal. When that stuff happens to me now, I don't talk to them ever again. I never call them. I don't return their calls. I don't anything. And if they are very persistent about calling me, texting me, I just block them. Or I'll just say, hey man, I'll call you, how do you say, don't call me? I've literally said this to people, like, don't call me, I'll call you. Like, in other words, F off. Like, I don't care. To cut down a lot of the bullshit, you can just literally just stop calling them and just say, hey, I'm just busy right now in my life. I got a lot of things going on. I don't have time. And just leave it open-ended. Like, it doesn't matter. And maybe they'll stop. Maybe they won't. So, and if they don't, then just block them. I mean, one thing about the cutoff game, I have no problem cutting people out of my life anymore. I have no problem. Another one is whenever someone tries to belittle you, even if it seems subtle, or in fact, especially if it seems subtle, because in order to be that good at belittling someone to where they can just kind of slide and glide it in, they're a professional. They know exactly what they're doing. Most people that shame you, they're not that professional at it, and it's pretty blatant and out in the open. It's kind of like rough and rugged. And if someone embarrasses you in public, yeah, just done. Bye. Just walk. See, here's the thing. I'm a lot lighter now with everything because I don't argue about this stuff. I don't try to explain and say, hey, I don't like that. So, yeah, I'm done. Just I just don't call them back. Like, whatever. Now, here's the overall lesson. Number one, connecting with your intuition to the point where something doesn't feel right and you just leave. Okay. Number two, which is also a number one, is, in the past I've said this, like, you don't have to figure out whether they're a narcissist or not. That is not the goal. It really isn't. Because the goal of this experience, call it from God's, from a higher perspective, is to just get you to get away from unhealthy people and be around healthy people. So if somebody is rude to you, if someone's disrespectful, if someone hurts you, if someone lies to you, if any of the stuff that we talk about, if you feel shame when you walk away and you don't know why, but that's it, I'm done. Because one of the things I learned about narcissists is they're very good at slipping this stuff in and slipping it by you. And so I don't care if I caught what they did or what they didn't. And here's the other thing. Again, I'm going to repeat this. I don't care if I know if they're a narcissist or not. It doesn't matter. If anybody is negative towards you, if anybody is shameful, if anyone tries to belittle you, talk behind your back, any of the stuff narcissists don't, you're done. It doesn't matter if they're a narcissist. So you don't need to be a narcissist identifier expert. You just need to be able to go, man, this person really made me feel like shit. Or I didn't like the way they talked to me, or the way they, did this in public or whatever. Then, because it's not your job to raise people. It's not your job to develop people, to turn people into good people. That's their job. So the burden of trying to correct people, tell people to treat you right, you're not supposed to treat me that way. Look, you gotta understand, people that do stuff like that, that's the way they are. They're not gonna change because you tried to educate them. They're inside, they're laughing their ass off, going like, this guy doesn't get it. Like, I just totally belittled them, cut them down, shamed them in front of their friends and family, and they're sitting there telling me oh, you shouldn't do that. Outside they're like, oh, okay, yeah, so you don't like that, huh? Well, of course you don't like it. No one likes it, and they know that. That's why they did it. So one of the realizations I had is that, oh, they're doing this on purpose. That was a game changer for me. So a lot of people are like, well, how do you get over this stuff? It's when you realize that they are number one, not only are they doing all of this on purpose and it's pre-planned and prepared. Secondly, which is more important than number one, they've been developing this skill set since they were a little child. And I mean younger than 4 years old, maybe even younger than 3 years old. They've been doing this their whole lives, and they've worked on this craft, and to them it's a profession. It is a craft. They become, and here's the deal, not experts. No, they become professionals. They are the professionals, meaning they know exactly what they're doing. When I realized those two things, that's when it was like, oh, compassion, done. Understanding for them, done. Game on. It is freaking game on, buddy. So all that trying to talk to them, explain things to them, they already know. And they're they're looking at you like, how does this person not get that I'm totally fucking with them? I'm totally hurting them and doing these horrible things, and I'm doing and they're laughing inside at you. And here you are trying to have a rational discussion with them, and they're inside, and that's why you see the smirk, because a smirk is basically they're trying to hold it inside, but they're freaking smirking because they can't hold it in. That's the whole point of a smirk. That's what a smirk is. And that's why it hurts you so bad when someone looks at you like that because it's like your body is screaming at you. This is your intuition saying this person is being a complete fucking asshole. Listen to the lyrics of this. This is incredible. Yeah, she said starlight, star bright, the first star seed tonight. I think that is so cool. I never listened to the lyrics until just now. Alright, so here's what I want to do. I want to turn it over to you guys. I want you guys to tell me the subtle red flags that you guys catch and what you've noticed. For me, when it's that smirk, another thing is their eyes. Their eyes are very pointy and they're very external versus open and internal, okay? It's something that I have to teach them, I can explain. But it's in that image that I just put up. Another one was when, you know, they have that very nasally voice, like they're very, because see, narcissists are very linear, logical, very extreme left brain to the far left, and it makes your voice, it's like, because all your awareness and energy is up inside your forehead and your I call it nasal capacities. That's my smart ass way of saying that, and like they're speaking through their nose. That's another red flag. Okay, a couple more real quick. Let's throw them out there. Okay, so number one is arguing. If they just argue about every damn thing, okay? The one thing about narcissists, they're mismatchers because they're stuck in the left brain. Remember, the left brain is the either-or processor. It's either this or it's that. And they don't believe that you can both be right about anything. So if I'm right, then they're wrong. If they're right, that means... See, if you're right, then that means, in the way they process, the way the left brain works, it means if A is right, then B must be wrong. It's a real erroneous way of looking at the world, but this is the way they look at it. So if you're rich, they have to be poor. If you're right, then they have to be wrong. And they can't fucking have that. You have to be wrong. You have to be the bad guy because we can't both be the good guy, etc., etc. That's the way they view the world. So the second one, which I just gave away, is either or mentality thinking. Well, and you'll hear them say, well, you know, you can either have this or you can have that. And another one they'll say is, well, you can't have both. Which one? Another phrase is which one. So either or, you can't have both. Which one? Okay. So another one is what we're describing here is it's a very limited mind. It's like if they go to Baskin Robbins, they're like, well, you can only pick one choice. So which one do you want? It's like, what do you mean? I want a scoop of vanilla, I want a scoop of orange sherbet, and a scoop of raspberry sherbet with chocolate drizzle and sprinkles on top with freaking nuts on top. And you can't do that. And you're like, why? Well, it's either this or it's that. And you're like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's limited thinking to either or. Competitive for no reason. Just like, okay, you can't just have a conversation with them. They'll either argue with you or they'll disagree with you or they're trying to beat you in a conversation. They'll even bring up sports, like, so who do you think is going to win, the Dallas Cowboys or the 49ers? No matter what you pick, they're going to pick the opposite. And if you win, no big deal, but if they win, they're going to rub it in your freaking face. And another one is when they sucker you into this competitive way of communicating, talking, like every conversation is a competition. Every conversation, someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong. So in NLP, we have something called meta programs. It's something we help people to shift and to change and to be more fluid with versus being stuck on one or the other, okay, which is left brain thinking. So one of the meta programs is called mismatching, okay? So mismatching is they will literally say the opposite of anything that you say. So if you walk outside and it is like crystal clear blue sky and you say, wow, it's such a beautiful day, just a crystal clear blue sky, and they'll look up and they'll kind of get this like negative look on their face, like, nah, it's kind of a horrible day. It's not that crystal clear. It's kind of like hazy. And they literally will make shit up. And here's the deal. What are you going to do? Oh, what are you talking about? It's a crystal clear. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful. It's warm. It's this. They will freaking mismatch you. Mismatching is if you walk in the room and say, wow, I like this room. It's really nice. You're like, nah, I don't like it at all. Like, they'll literally mismatch you. All right, here's another one. I was trying to take this person to a club didn't know this person very well, and he'd never been. I don't know if he's ever been to San Francisco, but he had no idea where we're going. So while I was going down the road, boom, I go to take a risk. No, take a left. I'm like, what? Oh, okay, wasn't really thinking, And I'm like, and I'm driving, like, well, where now? He goes, well, I don't know where the club is. I'm like, what? So I turned back around. I'm going down the road. Here, take it right here. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. But he would like blurt it out there real fast, and then I'd like respond, like where are we going? He goes, we're going to the club. I was like, okay. So we're driving. I'll go, well, where now? He goes, well, I don't know where the club is. I'm like, so why in the fuck do you keep telling me where to turn if you don't know where the club is? That's a mismatcher. If you're going to take a left, they're going to tell you to take a right. If you're going to take a left or a right, they're going to tell you to take a left. They just mismatch. It's literally what we call a meta program. It's literally a program in their brain. Alright guys, God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, click subscribe, click like, buy one of my dating relationship books if you want to support this channel. Another thing you can do is there's a donation button in the description box right below the video. God bless you guys. See you in the next video. Peace.